No one in Okoro village knew that the quiet man walking into their village that hot afternoon would one day change everything. He came alone. Dust covered his shoes. His small bag hung loosely on his shoulder. He stopped at the entrance of the village, looked around slowly, and took a deep breath. My life starts again here, he said softly to himself. His name was David. David had left the busy streets of Lagos City, where cars never slept and people chased money day and night. He did not tell many people where he was going. He only knew he needed peace. He needed a place where no one knew him. So he traveled far, until he reached Okoro village. Okoro village was not like Lagos. It was quiet. Trees stood tall. Birds sang freely. The people were simple, but they were hardworking. Farming was their life. As David walked deeper into the village, some women who were returning from the stream stopped and looked at him. Who is that man? One woman asked. I don't know him, another replied. He must be a stranger. David passed them without saying a word. He only nodded his head politely. At the far end of the village, close to the bush, stood an old, poor house. Its walls were weak, and the roof looked tired. David stopped there. This will do, he said. That night, David slept on the floor of that poor house. The wind blew through small holes in the walls. But for the first time in a long while, David slept peacefully. The next morning, Okoro village woke up early, as always. Before the sun rose fully, young men were already outside sharpening hoes and cutlasses. Women packed food for their husbands. Children prepared to go to school. Wake up! Wake up! An old man shouted. The sun will not wait for lazy people. One young man laughed. In this village, if you don't work, hunger will teach you. They all headed to the farms. As they passed near the edge of the village, one man noticed David's house. Who lives there? He asked. I think a stranger moved in yesterday, another replied. They looked inside through the open door. David was still sleeping. He is still sleeping, one of them said in surprise. The men laughed and walked away. Within 1 week, everyone in Okoro village knew David. And not for a good reason. Every morning, people expected to see him follow others to the farm. But David never came out with them. When others returned tired and sweaty in the evening, David would be sitting quietly in front of his house. One afternoon, 2 men stopped in front of David's house. Good afternoon, one of them greeted. Good afternoon, David replied calmly. Aren't you going to the farm? The man asked. David smiled slightly. Not today. The men looked at each other. Not today, one repeated. Then when? David did not answer. He just smiled again. They walked away shaking their heads. That man is strange, one said. Strange and lazy, the other replied. Soon, the name spread through the village. Have you seen the new man? Yes. He does nothing. He just sits in his house all day. He will not survive here. Women talked about him at the stream. Lazy man, one said. Such men bring shame, another replied. Children laughed when they passed his house. Lazy uncle, they shouted, then ran away. David heard everything. But he said nothing. One evening, an old farmer stopped by David's house. My son, the old man said kindly, this village does not favor lazy people. David looked at him with respect. I understand, sir. Then why don't you work? The old man asked. David paused for a moment. My time has not come. The old man frowned. Time waits for no man. David nodded. I know. The old man sighed and walked away. Soon, the whole village had agreed on one thing. David was lazy. He eats without sweating. He will soon beg. Such men are useless. No one knew where he came from. No one knew his story. No one knew his plans. They only saw a poor house. They only saw a quiet man. They only saw what their eyes showed them. And so, they judged him. But David remained calm, living quietly at the edge of Okoro village, as if he was waiting for something, or someone. Little did they know, the stranger they mocked carried a secret that would soon shake the entire village. Okoro village had many beautiful girls, but Linda was special. When she walked through the village, people turned their heads. Her smile was soft, and her eyes were kind. She greeted elders with respect and laughed freely with children. Many young men dreamed of marrying her. She will marry a rich man, people often said. Or a strong farmer, others added. But no one expected what happened next. One afternoon, Linda and her friends were returning from the stream, their buckets balanced on their heads. As they walked, they passed near the poor house at the edge of the village. That is the house of the lazy man, one girl whispered. Yes, another replied. He does nothing. Linda stopped walking. Lazy man? She asked. Yes, her friend said. His name is David. Linda looked toward the house. David was sitting outside, fixing a small wooden stool. His clothes were simple. His face was calm. He does not look bad, Linda said quietly. Her friends laughed. Linda, don't even look there, one said. That man is not your type. Linda said nothing. But her eyes stayed on David for a moment longer. Later that day, Linda could not stop thinking. Why is everyone talking about that man? She asked herself. The next morning, she found herself walking toward the edge of the village without knowing why. When she reached David's house, she stopped. What am I doing here? She whispered. Before she could turn back, David looked up and saw her. Good morning, he said gently. Good morning, Linda replied, surprised by her own voice. There was silence. Then David spoke again. Please, sit. Linda sat on a small bench near the door. I am David, he said. I know, Linda replied. I am Linda. David smiled. Everyone knows Linda. She laughed shyly. And everyone knows David. They both smiled. They talked for a long time. They talked about the village. They talked about life. David listened more than he spoke. When he spoke, his words were calm and full of sense. You are different from what people say, Linda said at last. David looked at her. People see what they want to see. Linda nodded slowly. That day, Linda went home with a light heart. From that day, Linda began to visit David often. She would stop by in the afternoon. David, have you eaten? She would ask. Not yet, he would reply. Then she would cook for him. At first, David refused. You don't have to do this, he said. I want to, Linda replied with a smile. She cleaned his house. She washed his clothes. She sat and talked with him. People started noticing. One evening, Linda's friends gathered around her. Linda, one of them said seriously, why do you go to that man's house every day? He is poor, another added. And lazy. Linda looked at them calmly. He is kind. They laughed. Kindness does not fill the stomach, one said. Linda stood up. Love is not only about money. Within 2 months, David and Linda became very close. They laughed together. They shared stories. They understood each other without many words. One day, David asked, why do you come here every day? Linda answered honestly. Because my heart feels safe here. David looked at her for a long time. Linda, he said slowly, life is not always easy. I know, she replied. Can you stand with a man when others laugh at him? He asked. Linda held his hand. Yes. Soon, the whole village was talking. Have you heard? Linda is with the lazy man. She rejected many men for him. Men who once greeted Linda proudly now looked at David with anger. One rich man came to Linda. I can give you anything, he said. Houses. Land. Money. Linda shook her head. I want love. Another man said, I will make you queen in my house. Linda replied, I already have peace in my heart. Linda's friends warned her many times. Linda, leave this man, they said. Love a better man. Love a rich man. Linda refused. I love David, she said. I don't care about money. Her friends shook their heads. She is blind, one said. She will regret, another replied. But Linda did not change. At home, Linda's parents also noticed. Why do you always talk about David? Her mother asked. He is not like others, Linda replied. Her father frowned. That man has nothing. Linda's eyes filled with tears. But he has my heart. Her parents looked at each other and said nothing. Linda knew the road she chose was not easy. But every time she sat with David, she felt peace. And for David, Linda was more than a visitor. She was his light. She was his strength. Their love grew quietly, even as the village laughed loudly. And so, in Okoro village, a love story began, one that no one understood, yet. As Linda's love for David grew stronger, the village anger also grew. Okoro village was no longer calm. Everywhere Linda passed, people whispered. There she goes. That is the girl who chose a lazy man. She has shamed her family. Linda heard the words, but she walked with her head up. Rich men did not stop coming. One morning, a man named Chief Oko came with his people. They brought gifts, yams, goats, and fine clothes. They stopped in front of Linda's parents' house. "Where is Linda?" Chief Oko asked. Linda's mother rushed out. "She is inside," she replied. Linda came out slowly. Chief Oko smiled. "My daughter, I have watched you. I want you to be my wife." Linda bowed politely. "Thank you, sir. But my heart belongs to another." The chief's smile faded. "To that poor man?" Linda nodded. "Yes." People murmured. Chief Oko stood up in anger. "You will regret this." Linda did not reply. More men came. Strong men. Young men. Men with land. Men with money. Linda rejected all of them. "I love David," she said again and again. The village could not understand. At home, Linda's parents were tired. One night, her father called her. "Sit down," he said. Linda sat. "Why do you bring shame to us?" he asked. Tears filled Linda's eyes. "Father, I am not doing wrong." "That man has nothing," her mother cried. "Nothing." Linda knelt down. "Please, trust me." Her father stood up in anger. "Leave that man." Linda broke down. "If you force me," she cried, "I will kill myself." Silence filled the room. Her mother screamed. "Don't say that." Linda cried all night. Her parents were afraid. Days passed. The village anger became dangerous. One evening, some men gathered under a big tree. "That man must go," one said. "He has turned Linda's head," another added. "We should kill him," a third whispered. The men nodded. But Linda heard. A young boy ran to her. "Auntie Linda," he said, "they want to kill David." Linda's heart stopped. That night, she ran to David's house. "David, come quickly," she whispered. "What is wrong?" he asked. "They want to kill you." David looked calm. "I am not afraid." Linda cried. "I am." She took his hand and led him to her parents' house. She hid him in a small room. "Stay here," she said. Her parents were shocked. "What have you done?" her mother asked. "I saved the man I love," Linda replied. Her father said nothing. The next morning, the village searched for David. "Where is he?" "He has disappeared." "Did he run away?" They were confused. "Why does this girl love such a poor man?" they asked. Linda stood before them. "If David marries me," she said boldly, "we will work hard together. We will live like other villagers. Love is not about money." People laughed. "She is dreaming." At last, Linda's parents gave up. "Do what you want," they said. "Your life is in your hands." Linda cried with relief. But the village did not stop. When Linda and David planned their marriage, the anger grew. "We will not attend," they said. "We will shame them." But Linda and David stood together. Their love was now stronger than fear. And the village waited, unaware of what was coming next. The day David and Linda planned to marry arrived. But there was no joy in Okoro village. No songs. No drums. No laughter. Instead, there was anger. "We will not attend that wedding," the villagers agreed. "Let them marry alone. They will feel shame." Linda heard the words, but she did not cry. She held David's hand and said, "As long as you are with me, I am not alone." David smiled. "You are strong." Early that morning, David spoke to Linda. "I need to go to the city," he said. Linda looked worried. "Today?" "Yes," David replied calmly. "I need to call my people." Linda paused. "Are you sure?" David nodded. "Trust me." Linda looked into his eyes. "I trust you." David left quietly. When the villagers saw David leaving, they laughed. "Look at him running away," one man said. "He has no people," another mocked. "Today will be shameful," a woman added. Linda heard everything. But she stayed calm. The wedding place was ready. Linda sat quietly in her room. Her parents sat beside her. "Are you still sure?" her mother asked softly. "Yes," Linda replied. "More than ever." Her father sighed. "Then let it be." Time passed. People waited. Some laughed. Some mocked. Has he returned? Maybe he ran away forever. Linda stayed silent. Then suddenly, a loud sound broke the air. Vroom, vroom. People turned. Dust rose from the road. Cars. Many cars. They entered the village slowly. Everyone froze. "Whose cars are these?" someone asked. Men stepped out. They were well dressed. Clean shoes. Fine clothes. They looked important. The village became silent. David stepped out of the first car. Linda's eyes widened. "David," she whispered. Behind him stood many respected men. One bowed. "Your Highness." The villagers gasped. "Highness." David turned to Linda. "I am sorry," he said gently. "I wanted you to know today." Linda could not speak. An old man stepped forward. "This is Prince David," he announced. "Son of the king." The village shook. People fell to the ground. The lazy man. The poor man. They were ashamed. Linda's friends cried. "We were wrong." They knelt before her. The villagers lowered their heads. David lifted Linda's hand. "She loved me when you mocked me." Silence filled the village. Moral lesson. That day, Okoro village learned. Never judge a person by what you see. True love sees the heart, not wealth. Patience reveals hidden greatness. Respect people, because you don't know their story. And Linda smiled, knowing love had won.